might as well rock and roll.
Yes, guys, welcome. How is everyone doing? I hope you're all doing well. Thank you very much for joining me again, guys. It's been a few days. I've done a video for 4 days now. Not been too well, been a bit under the weather of all things going. Big up to everyone reaching out as well, seeing how I was. I do really, really appreciate it. I really do, guys. As you might be able to tell, I've got a brand new camera, so I'm hoping the picture quality is now far better. So let me know if you prefer this picture quality, guys. I've got a brand new camera. Yeah, so hopefully this is looking better and sounding better. Hopefully you can hear me all good as well. Let me know in the chat. Yeah, let me know in the chat if you prefer this camera. Yeah, I've had a camera for a while, guys, but I thought it was broken. Now I fixed it the other day, plugged it in, and it works. It's a 4K camera, coming live in 4K. The only problem is now that I've got a 4K camera is that you can see me sweating to death. It is pouring out of me, guys. It's pouring out of me. But yeah, this should look better from going on. Big up to everyone in chat. Thank you very much. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe as well. We know what you're doing here. The road to 5K. If I hit 5K subscribers before the beginning of the season, I will skin my head live on air. Just for you guys. I am not sponsored, but this is needed today because, I ain't been feeling great. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't been feeling great the last few days. My face and everything. Big up to everyone who DM'd me, asked how I was feeling and stuff like that. I do really, really appreciate it. Thank you very much. And I'm feeling better now. I'm feeling best I've felt for about 4 or 5 days now. I ain't gonna lie. Been feeling pretty crap. But yeah, I'm feeling good now. What else? I was going to say something. It's gone right in my head. Forget about it. So, this is the call-in show, guys. We'll just go. Ends man is on his way. So, once Ends gets there, we'll get Ends on the show. You know how we do it over here, guys. Me and Ends take your calls. Lots to talk about in the world of Liverpool Football Club. Lots to talk about today. Obviously, the news that's coming out this afternoon. News about Valverde. I won't talk about the Mbappe stuff because, you got more chance of me going to the moon than Liverpool getting Mbappe. I'm not even going to bother chatting about that crap. We've got lots to chat about. You got the owner situation, the investment in the football club. There might be something where they go to buy players by promising them to be part of the brand new basketball team. So we're going to talk about that as well. But before we do all that, we've got Ends in the show. Big up, Ends. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Got a new camera, looking 4K-ish.
Oh, all right. So look.
you can see how nice my brown eyes are. You know what I mean?
No, I'm good, Jamie. You're right.
Yeah, I'm doing good.
What's everyone saying though, man?
I'm doing better than I was the last few days. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I didn't know, man, until you said, obviously, when we were chatting in the WhatsApp. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I'm better now. Like.
Good.
Yeah, we've got a big show coming up. We've got to talk about, obviously, the transfer rumours. Certain Hungarian midfielder being linked to a Liverpool today. David Ornstein just throwing that out of left field from absolutely nowhere. Just where you go. Have that for a bit of news tonight. So Liverpool Twitter's going mad. I don't think it'll happen, but it should. But I don't think it'll happen. When they said, yeah, he's got a £60 million buyout clause, it's like, yes, okay. Thanks for telling us. So that might not happen. The Valverde news as well. I've already said I'm not going to talk about Mbappe because that's just
okay, cool.
Got more chance of me going to the moon, I think, than we have got about getting Mbappe. There's just I saw And there's a rumor that FSG are going to promise new players that they're going to try and get to be part of their brand new basketball franchise with Las Vegas basketball team they go by. And they're going to buy in, and they're going to buy into that franchise to get the players to come in. I don't know if you've heard that, but apparently that's a bit of a news that's hitting parts of America today.
No, I did hear a little inkling, but I just want us to sign players, man, at this moment in time, bro. That's all I want. Need some new players, Jamie, bro. We got one through the door, so I'm sure you're gonna touch on obviously the Trents for a few of the guys anyway, but yeah, man.
Yeah. Before we get to that, before we get to all that, I've got a little thing here. We're gonna play. Right, we're gonna play this. Go on, right. Nat Phillips, keep or sell?
Sell. Needs to go.
Joel Matip, keep or sell?
Keep, unless we're gonna replace him.
Joe Gomez, keep or sell?
Keep. Filling that right back, homegrown. Keep.
Is it Queven Kelleher? It should be
Queven. You already know, man. You already know. I already told you. Europa League, bro. That's his settings for next season.
Yeah.
Play all the games, and we need to keep him. I'm not here to sell one of the top goalkeepers in the league now, man. Got to keep these guys.
Definitely. Quasi, how you doing, man? Jamie, am I using my? Yeah, I think I saw you tweet about this the other day, actually, Quasi, about the Mbappe situation. Yeah, I saw you tweet about it, and I saw someone in an ESPN talking about it as well. So it rattled my cage, and then a few other American broadcasters are bringing it up, and I can't remember the American YouTuber's name, but it's a Liverpool fan, and he was talking about it as well. So yeah, maybe something in it. Big up Wolves FIA, doing my friend. Big up Jamie Chat Klopp out. Big up Wolves FIA with a super chat. Big up to you, my man, straight off the bat. Yeah, keep sell buy. That's it. It's an interesting one. I think Nat Phillips is the only one going out of all them, to be perfectly honest. Out of them players there, I can only see Nat Phillips going.
Yeah, he's the only one. He stayed when we've needed him to stay, when we could have easily sold him. So I think time for him to go and play first team football, wherever that might be. Yeah, man, might as well get the 10 million or whatever it is we can get for him now. But the other guys, Matip, I would sell him, but unless we're going to replace him, no point. We already know how it is sometimes when we could get injuries and everyone gets injured in terms of the back line. We need centre back. Joe Gomez fits the homegrown quota, and he can fill in that right back if we do go to right back, if Trent's going to be the one that moves into the midfield. So is what it is, man. And who was the other one on the list? Was that Queeve? No, definitely have to keep him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want Adrian as my number 2, to be fair. So
no chance, bro.
I'm all right with Adrian being number 3, but Queven, Queeve. I can't pronounce it properly. I love the Irish. I love you guys. My wife's Irish, so I love you guys. My in-laws are Irish. I love you guys. Your names don't make sense. I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm just gonna put it out. I love the Irish, but that don't spell Queven to me. And then the way they spell Neve, I'm like, I love you guys. I'm just glad I got a wife who's part Irish, a father-in-law is part Irish, that they can steer me right on these sayings. Jeez, sell them all.
Hey, gee, man.
She's coming with the violence, man. Just sell them all. Bruno's like, sell Adrian. No, you can't sell Adrian. Liverpool the only football club to give him 2 back-to-back contracts. You know,
it's got the new contract, man. Go, you know what I mean? Respect the grind from him.
Adrian's living life. Man, he hired out a Spanish stadium to show off his medals. I love the guy. You know,
hey, don't blame him, bro. If you got money, you want to do what you want to do. Do what you want to do, man. He decided to rent our stadium and show off his trophies. That's what he wants to do.
Go for it, man. Big Adams well sell Gomez for up to £15 million. Yeah, like the Gomez one's weird. So, like with Joe Gomez, I've always liked him as a player. My problem with Joe Gomez is the injuries look like they've caught him up, sort of thing. That's what it looks like to me, and I just don't know if you're going to get a really good Joe Gomez ever again. So that's my part of it. Maybe we'd let him go. You know, everyone's talking about other players like Timbers and stuff like that. You know, back a few years ago, Joe Gomez was that player. You know, he was that player. He was athletic. He could play with the ball. He was a good defender. You know, I just feel like, Ends, because I know you like Gomez, and I just feel like the injuries have affected him so much now that he needs for me to play football. You know, like Curtis Jones. We saw the real Curtis Jones after he played 10 games in a row.
Yeah,
First of the time. And we saw the real Curtis Jones again. Is Gomez ever going to have that though for Liverpool ever again?
That's why I said Europa League will be the one for us, man. I told you, Jamie, man. That's why I didn't mind it. That's the one that's going to give all these guys the game time.
Watch Klopp play Virgil every Europa League.
Nah, he can't play Virgil every game. He has to play. Nah, he has to play. I'm
telling you, Salah and Virgil are going to play every Europa League game as well. They're just going to, because they haven't got natural replacements. They're the only two that haven't got a natural replacement. And
the competition isn't in that. Well, it isn't that great in terms of the group stages anyway. There might be some shocks, it might be some decent decent players in the group stages, but nah, man, we should be able to play some of the kids and go and win these games of football.
Yeah, I agree. Right, just before we talk more Liverpool stuff, I just want to go off Liverpool a minute because I don't know if you heard this, Ends, but Declan Rice is world class now.
Who said this?
The footballing world. I've got my beef.
Winding me up.
I've got my beef with Liverpool Twitter. I really have, because they piss me off. But I've got my beef with Liverpool Twitter because, and you've probably seen it as well. A few months ago, a lot of Liverpool fans were saying, Declan Rice, he's not all that. He's overpriced. He's overhyped, English hype and all that. He's not as great as many people think. Now he's going for 105 million to Arsenal. I don't know if you noticed, but the opposite's happened. He's quality. Why aren't we going for him? You know what I mean? It winds me up. The people switch so quickly and players. Look, I like Declan Rice. I think he's a decent footballer. 105 million is balmy.
West Ham are taking a piss. That's what they're doing. But I don't blame them. If that's what you value a player for, that's what you value a player for. But let's be honest, man. This guy ain't that good, man. Like the only time I see people really talk about him is when he plays for England. And he runs around, he looks busy, he wins a few tackles, looks half decent. But when he's for West Ham, if you get listen, I don't know if these men are watching. No offense to anyone in the comments, but you guys are not watching West Ham games, and you're not, you know what I mean, you're Liverpool fans, majority of you. If you go and watch the West Ham games, he loses the ball more than he actually wins the ball with his diabolical passing. But what happens is he'll score a decent goal, and then they'll show this time and time again, and then it'll be like, he had an amazing game. Go and watch his stats in the game, bro. Gives the ball away a hell of a lot of times. Looks lost. The final that he played in recently, we did the watch along, me and Savage. This guy was missing in the whole game. At the end of the game, they talked about him like he was God's gift, like he was doing. I'm like, the guy was missing in the whole game. Even for their first goal, he did what everyone blamed Joe Gomez for, turning his back on the ball and did that. This is what he did for their first goal, Florentina's first goal in that final. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Look, if people want him, I do not want him. I don't rate him as a footballer. He's good enough to play in the Premier League, I guess. But what Arsenal needs, he might go to Arsenal and do well, but it's an average player, man. Average.
That was them words come from Ensman TV. If you want to find him, no, I'm a bit the opposite. I actually like Declan Rice. To be fair, I was one of the only Liverpool channels for a while that kept praising Declan Rice, but I never went overboard on him. I just thought he was when everyone was dissing Declan Rice, when the whole Twitter space and the YouTube space were absolutely slagging Declan Rice and saying he's not that great. Why are you interested in him? He's not better than Fabinho. And I used to say, I thought he was really good. And now everyone's turned around because he's got such a big transfer value now. I think he's a good player. I don't think I think what he's being marketed at the moment is just a little bit overrated. I think he's a good footballer, but what they're marketing him as is like the second like, how much would Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard go in today's transfer market? If Declan Rice is going for 105 million with his last contract. How much, guys in the chat, maybe you can tell me as well, how much would a prime Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard cost in today's transfer market?
Honestly, I don't know.
I'm going with Stevie, 200 mil in today's transfer market in his prime.
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. I don't know. Like, that Gerrard was different levels, man. Like, you're talking about the complete midfielder, and you could just put him in any position, he would still play well there. I don't know. It'd be crazy. It might be like the Mbappe money that, you know, these Mbappe price tags and Neymar's price tags, those kind of crazy. Billion. Lampard would be expensive as well.
Yeah, because he's a goal scoring midfielder.
But Gerrard, the complete package. Honestly,
Frank,
couldn't tell you.
150, Gangadik's 200. That's what I'm saying. And when I said the other week, I said last week that the world-class players of 10, 15 years ago are far better than the so-called world-class players of today, in my opinion. You know, players we're starting to call world-class. Because Declan Rice will be called world-class next season because he plays for Arsenal now. It's going to happen, yeah. They're going to put him in that pinnacle. He costs 105 million. In my opinion, if you're costing 105 million as a midfielder, you have to be world-class. If you're costing 105 million as a midfielder, that means you're elite. You're one of the elite midfielders in world football for 105 million. So for me, you've got to be world class, yeah? So we're putting Rice in that bracket and he doesn't fit the boots of a Frank Lampard and a Gerrard 10, 15 years ago, you know, then what are players more, are we producing more system players these days to what we ever did before? Do you think that's the issue? Because I think a lot of footballers now are pretty much the same.
Yeah, to be fair, most obviously you have the few that, you know, stand out because they have a lot more flair and you can see there's a lot more talent. There's few players that have to work for what they have, and then just do the basics really well. But if you want to use Declan Rice, if people are going to call him world class, then that's crazy to me, man. That means that the level for world class has massively dropped. Because if that's what world class is, I honestly don't know. Because I don't see what he will offer a team. I don't know what, just run around, look busy, or I don't know, man. I don't know. People probably look at his stats but I don't know. From what I've seen, man, this guy isn't as good as what people are telling me.
Not going deep. Someone like Guti would be considered top 5 in the world now, but back then he was just considered good.
And he was cold.
Yeah, he was a very good footballer, but in this day and age of football now, he would definitely be top 5. Yeah, but back then he had many more midfielders that were so much better that he wouldn't get a sniff. Who's calling him world class? Bring him to the table. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. He's going to Arsenal. He'll have a few good games, and oh my god, he's world class. He's world class.
And you see, and you know, I don't want to bring it back to Liverpool and get kind of divide the family, but this is the reason why when people play him, like, why are we spending money on players like, bro? Because the guy's not worth even 50 million. 50 million is the max I'd play. This guy's going for 105 million. And you're telling me we should just go and buy him because bro. You could easily go and get 2 or 3 players for that price. That's better than him.
Oh, miles. And look, before we get the callers in as well, I've got to say this:
105 million.
It's mad. I've got to say this. Yeah, I don't usually stick up for Man City, right? Because I don't give a crap. But I'm actually going to stick up for them, a little bit, right? So Pat Man, if you're in the chat, I'm going to actually stick up for Man City a little bit. I see Arsenal fans all over Twitter now saying they beat Man City to the signing of Declan Rice. You got there's one tweet going around saying we are more powerful than Manchester City, and Man City just won a treble because we beat them to the signing of Declan Rice. You do know if City really wanted Rice, they'd have him, yeah, right? But what Man City do, and Man City are not. I think they're quite clever in the transfer market. They value a player like we do. They have a value on a player, and they won't go above that value. No matter how much money City have got, or, whoever it is they've got the money, they won't go over that value. They value Jack Grealish 100 million. They went and got him. But that's the most they spent on an individual player. You've got to remember, Liverpool and Arsenal, Man United and Chelsea have spent more money on individual players than Man City have. And it's because they value a player. Like when everyone was at Cucurella last season, they went, "No, he's not over 60 million. You're having a giggle," and it proved right. They were apparently Maguire, they're like 80 million for Maguire. Like, let United have him. You know, they want Alexis Sanchez. They're like, "No, he wants how much wages? No, you're all right." So they have a value which they won't go over. So no, Arsenal didn't beat City to the signing of Declan Rice. What it is, City didn't know if Gundogan was leaving. He left. Declan Rice was there. City put in a little bid. Turned down. Arsenal saw City put in a bid and just up their bid to 105 million. And West Ham were like, "Thank you very much." Yeah, it's as simple as that. They didn't rate.
I can't believe that.
They didn't rate Declan Rice like everyone else thinks they rate. And now, Man City are going after Gabriel Vega because they rate him.
Oh, he's a far better player than this.
Yeah,
this
and they
guy.
rate him. And they rate him. So, yeah, it's...
Hey, don't worry, man. You go and win Arsenal the Premier League next season. 105 mil.
Yeah.
See what happens, man. But that's just daylight robbery, man. But big up to West Ham. Hey, listen, if you're gonna hustle someone, hustle Arsenal.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just Arsenal love it. Arsenal. 105 million, man. 105 million.
I'm sure if they turned down one more time, would you think they would have went to like 110 if they turned that down?
I think Arsenal would have bidded anything. I think it was their main transfer target. I think Arsenal would go bid anything. I think City putting that bid in made West Ham happy because that means they knew Arsenal were going to come in with a higher price to outbid Man City. I think West Ham were hoping that Man City would then come back in again and outbid Arsenal, but they were like, "Nah, I'm just, we don't value him that high."
No, when you go to an auction, right, and you're just there, you just want to drive the bid up. So you just randomly throw something out and hopefully you drive up. So someone else just goes and spends a crazy amount of money on an item. I think maybe that's what Man City did. Is for a high bid. Arsenal, do you really want him? All right, 100 mil. Do you guys really want him? Arsenal's like, yep, 105 mil.
Apparently Arsenal playing 100 million up front. I mean, that's...
Hey, listen, he might do well for them, but boy. That's crazy now. So when we go and try and buy players, man, no wonder these guys are asking for some crazy, man. They're like, well, Declan Rice is 105 million.
And imagine
what Barella is worth then, man. Jesus Christ.
I know. And Drew says it there. They could have actually got Casado instead. It was a better player. So,
well done.
This is a point. Gangandeek says Rice and Havertz in midfield is smelly. I can't lie. Rice is going to be running to the ground, shielding the back four, and Havertz. Right? If Arsenal are going to get rid of Xhaka and Partey like they're saying they're going to, right? Because I had this discussion with Arsenal fans the other day. It's like, well, if you've got Rice and you're getting Havertz as well, and you've got Odegaard there, Partey there, and Xhaka there, that's a decent squad you're building. And then he went, no, they're replacing them two. So I was like, hang on. So you're replacing Xhaka and Partey, who took you almost to the title last time as a defensive pillar in your midfield, and you're replacing him with Declan Rice and Kai Havertz. So Kai Havertz and Declan Rice are going to be your midfield pairing. That's not an upgrade.
And it's crazy because that's where you're meant to try and build a squad to compete, not to get rid of players and then...
That's not an upgrade. It's not an upgrade. That's just
if they sell Partey, it's crazy though, man. You can't sell Partey, man.
They might not. They might have to because I'm not going to get into that. We all know. We all know. So let's talk about. Is it Dominik? Hang on, I'm going to pronounce this. I am shit with names, as we all know. Szoboszlai. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, close.
You
have to get Ram.
It's like
No, you have to get Ram. Ram will pronounce it properly.
Ends is like right, Jay. That's shit, mate. But yeah.
No. So Szoboszlai. There's so many different pronunciations. Yeah, there's so many different pronunciations of this.
I'm going with the silent S, and and there's another Z in it. So Szoboszlai or whatever. But Liverpool apparently in for him. €70 million is something like £64 million buyout clause. Simple question, then, yes or no? Does it happen?
100%, bro. He's a cold player. Like, no, I don't want to get excited because I don't think it's true, but it is what it is, man. Just wait and see. But top player, man. Top player. He will offer us a lot going forward. And he isn't bad defensively either. He wins a lot of tackles, I'll tell you that much. But I don't know. These men might see what Rice is going for and go, well.
Well, he's got a buyout clause. No, his buyout clause.
Saves
so
us
this buyout clause thing, I don't get it, right? So apparently his buyout clause is €70 million, and it finishes on the 30th of June, which is only 2 days' time, right? So if that finishes at the 30th of June, could you then be able to negotiate a better deal for yourself on the 1st of July?
No, but if the buyout clause is that's what it is, then if it depends then what they value their player at, because if it runs out, that means they could probably up the price for it, because then it'll be down to what they value him at, and he's a very very good player, so they could up the value. But
then Liverpool can do what they love to do, bring the Avon book and get them installments out.
Yeah, I know, but then I think it puts the power more to the club in that position. I think with the buyout clause, I think if Liverpool are serious, just go and pay it, man. Go and pay it, get him in. Instead of waiting for that to run out, and then
he's a good player. Obviously, Carvalho's gone to Leipzig, so Einstein made it apparent that it's got nothing to do with the deal for Carvalho going the opposite way.
Right.
He says that, but then this came out of nowhere when a certain player's just completed his move on loan to Leipzig. I don't know if there's something.
So, Jamie, could it be a thing? I don't want to, sorry, guys, in the comments, but could it just be a thing where Liverpool are in for midfielders? We've loaned, our youngster there, and then they've gone, okay, let's just throw a name in a hat and say Liverpool are linked with him. Could it just be one of those things, or is there, a lot of truth behind this?
I don't know. David Einstein brought it out from nowhere, and apparently we spoke to him as well. So if we've been this is the thing that does my head in about Liverpool Football Club, yeah. If we've been speaking to him and his agents and his representation, which means we've had to have discussions with the football club to speak to him, then we know what the offer is. So why bother speaking to him if you can't afford to buy him? What?
Because let me do the other way then. I think sometimes, even though you go and speak to them, you're like, okay, cool. Is there any budge or is there any room for negotiation in terms of the deal for him? Personal terms is never going to be an issue, I think, with players and clubs. It's always going to be the package for the player, how you're going to structure the deal to buy that player. So if we've spoken to him and if the rumors are to be true, I just don't want it to be someone that we've kind of just... sometimes the journals do it. They just throw a name there because we've loaned a player there. So they're like, okay, he's their best midfielder. Let's just throw him in the hat as well. Liverpool looking for midfielders. If there's some truth to it or substance to it, I'm happy, bro. Because he's a top player to go and get. Young as well. So where is he? 23 now. So I don't know, man.
It's definitely a player. I want him. I mean, if he's... Yeah, he's a quality little player, and he can play right wing as well, guys. This is the thing. He can play right wing as well. And I've always said I don't think we'll ever get a Salah replacement, because Salah's never going to rest. He's always going to play. In the mould of a Lewandowski, Ronaldo and Messi, they never really had replacements. They just played all the time. And if they had to miss a game, you sort something out and put someone somewhere. I've always said get a versatile player that can go into that position of quality. And if this is the guy to do it, just go and pay him. Just go and pay him. We got going deep. Jamie, remember Klopp said we'll buy players the fans will not initially like. Fans like, him. So we won't get him. Yeah, and he also said, though, which is a key. I've gone back on this press conference yesterday and had a look at it. He also said, it might take us 6 weeks to do a transfer because really good players are hard to buy. So I don't know if that was a little clue.
Really good players take a lot. Yeah, it does take a lot of time.
Yeah, really good ones do. Yeah, really good ones do. But yeah, I'll be interested. I'll be interested. Right, let's get you guys in. I'm going to put the link in the chat, guys. You guys can
Here
come in
we
and
go.
have your say. Remember, guys, when you come in, just be polite. No rudeness, no swearing. No, if we get more than one person on as well, depending how quiet or how busy we are, if I put more than one person on, please don't speak over each other. I beg. It's a madness. It's always a madness. But yeah, the link is in the chat, guys. Make sure you come in and have your say. I will pin the link as well, guys, so it stays in the chat. Oh, let me pin the message. Right. I've pinned it into the link. Right. The link is pinned in the live chat, guys. So make sure you come in and have your say when we're waiting there. See up, Susan in the house. How you doing? Can I give a shout out to Casey? Image Works. Kev's a scouser is at Anfield every day with his drone recording the work going on with the stand expansion that took. It's amazing footage. Yeah, big up, Susan. I mean, big up. Yeah, KC Image Works. I think I've seen that on YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah,
big
I haven't
up.
seen. I've seen. Maybe it's from this person, but yeah, man,
The man
stadium's
with
looking good.
Yeah, that bloke who goes through Stanley Park every morning with his drone, don't he? And he goes and he takes his drone up. I've seen that guy. I don't know if that's the same person. But yeah, big shout out, big shout out. Yeah, stadium's looking healthy, man. It is looking good. There's no doubt about it. Right, let's get Paul in. Big up, Paul.
All right, mate. Then
we're doing good, man. How are you?
Oh, good. Yeah. Let's go back to what you were saying about world-class players, and they're saying that there isn't many world-class footballers as there is now, as there was back then. And I tend to agree with you on that one. Definitely. I can't.
First.
Yeah. I do agree with Jamie. I do agree with Jamie. I don't always disagree with Jamie. Sometimes.
Feels like it.
Yeah. Sometimes it's but I don't always disagree with Jamie. Anyway, as you were saying, right, I can't name one or even two or even five at the most that are world-class players today. I can't name maybe De Bruyne, maybe Neymar, and the ones that are world-class are coming to the end of their careers or playing in Saudi Arabia. So, and the fault for that, but also there's not many players with flair, imagination. You can think off the cuff. Use that flash of brilliance out of nowhere. Those players are not there anymore. We don't see those players anymore. And I think it is down to the academy system and system football.
100%.
It is. It's down to system football. You're taught to play one way, and if you veer off that system, then you're seem to be castigated by the manager or the coach. So that's my view.
Our manager nearly did that as well with Diaz. When Diaz first came in the team, he was just out there doing whatever. And now he just looks like a European baller instead of a South American one.
Even Pep, the greatest manager of all time, in my opinion, or in this generation anyway, seems to frown upon players who can think of the cuff and would try something unusual to win a game. Yeah.
Yeah, like Vic says there, Aymar and Raquel, mate. Do you remember them boys? Oh, Flair, man.
Flair. I mean, the guy just recently retired. He's the last. He's probably one of the last that we'll ever see. Is Ibrahimovic, Zlatan. If anyone remembers that bicycle kick he scored from the halfway line, almost halfway line against England.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What I mean.
Yeah, that was amazing. I was up for that.
That was we don't see those type of players anymore.
No.
Yeah, players that just had that imagination. Ronaldinho. Who else can I think of? Neymar. Players of that nature who just had that imagination to do something different. Didn't care what the circumstances were, and they play for the enjoyment of the game as well. Today's football is too serious. Extremely serious.
It's all about winning now, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's too much.
All about winning.
Paycheck.
There's too much money in football now. You know, winning 3 points. That's why there's so many systems now, because they have winning is so important now that
Yeah.
because so much money is influencing the game. So I don't blame managers and all
And it's
this
not
for
just
it
in football; it's across world sport, in my
Yeah.
opinion. The characters, the entertainers, they're not there
there ain't
anymore.
none.
Yeah,
The only
There are no
entertainer
characters.
the only entertainer in sport nowadays is that Australian tennis player. What's his name? You know that Australian
Nick
tennis player?
Grizovic, what his name is on.
Yeah, he's got a Greek name,
Kyrgios.
hasn't he? Yeah,
Nick
he is
Kyrgios.
hilarious.
Nick
Yeah,
Kyrgios, that's the guy's name.
He is hilarious.
Yeah.
He's good. He's a good tennis player, but my God, he's entertaining because he fights everyone. I love it. I absolutely love it. The link is pinned in the live chat, my friend. The link is
I'll let you
pinned in the
guys
live
go because I'll
chat.
come back on later when you have the panel.
Yeah, come in later.
Yeah, we'll do.
All right, man.
Okay, I'll speak to you
All right,
later.
see you later, man. See you
Speak
later.
to you in a bit, bro. But
All right,
yeah,
I
man.
mean, go on.
Yeah, no, it's good though, man. Some of these players that Paul just named, a lot of people don't probably remember. Well, the younger generation probably won't remember half of them. Raquel, go and watch videos of a guy that could dictate a game of football on his own. Quality, man. Pablo Aimar as well. The time when we were linked to get him, and we just never did the deal, man, to go and sign him. But is what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Right, let's get some. There was a couple who didn't make it last week. I want to get in first. Yeah, they've just come in. So Bear Britain audits. Oh, for goodness sake! All right, Jesus Christ! You always get one. Let's get K-Mac in, unless he's going to get his knocked out.
Hey, K-Mac, you better not try and do that either, mate.
A bit of blue for the Dodge there.
Jesus Christ! You get it all the time, man.
I don't even know what I'm going to talk about now.
Come on, let's get serious, K-Mac.
Why'd you have to get me after that?
At least I got rid of it quick, man. Oh, yes. Simao. Yeah, Simao is quality, man.
Simao as well. We didn't even get that across the line as well, man.
No. James Phillips rated. Gee, you get. I don't. What is the point, though? What is the point of coming in and just doing that? It's madness. All right, K-Mac, how you doing, man? You're
Can't
mute.
hear you, bro. Come on, K. The one that says headphones.
The one that says headphones.
Can't hear you still. Oh, man. Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, sorry, my headphones just died.
There you go. There you go. Right, where you going to say, my man?
I was probably going to disagree with Paul. Has he not seen some of Salah's goals? Like that one against Man City? Like, you know, there's a bit of flair in that. There's a bit of skill in that. You put the entire team on their arse.
Do you know what it is though, K-Mac? I think it's that raw. I don't know, man. There's different levels to that. You know, when Neymar decides he wants to switch it on, or if you watch old school Ronaldinho, the things that he used to do on the football pitch, you know, just a joy to watch. And I think Salah has the ability to do some of these things, but it's just more in moments instead of him actually naturally be gifted with it. Just in moments, he will just switch it on.
Sorry, my dog's barking. Sorry.
No, it's all right.
Do you want to drop me out and get someone else in, and I'll come back in a bit.
Sorry, it's only right. We'll get you guys in. There you go. Gary, Bruno, you good?
Yeah. Good, thanks.
Coutinho as well.
Hello,
Big up,
boy, you
96
all right?
News. That's big up, bro.
Yeah, Gary, how you doing, mate? You good? Yeah, we've had pornography. We've had pornography. We've had pornography on the channel already.
I thought that was Firmino, that was, wasn't it?
Probably. I don't even know why do it. You know why? Because they came onto the channel last week and they joined right at the end as we finished. So I promised them they could come on again. So literally waited all week. Waited all week to do that.
Can I just quickly say, right? This whole thing about a lot of talking, there's a lot of chatter, but actually, why don't they actually go to them and actually put a bit Why don't they actually go in there and put a bid in? Is this a bit of PR from John W. Henry? Is this a load of garbage from this guy?
To be honest, Bruno, I don't think John W. Henry knows who we're bidding for. So, literally, John W. Henry's just the money man. He's just at home. He gets a phone call like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And I think he leaves it to his team. I actually, the person I think is most in charge at FSG, and that's Mike Gordon. I think he's the one mostly in charge of everything at Liverpool Football Club, Bruno. To be truthful.
Bruno, you have to think about it as well. There are so many links that go to this. At the end of the day, we've just got a German director of football who said he's going to be looking in Germany for players. I mean, that was what he was quoted. That was basically his job for the next 3 months. We've been haggling with Leipzig about Fabio Carvalho because they wanted to sign him on a full transfer, and we've been saying we can only have him on loan.
Yeah,
this could all be part of that deal. And you also have to think about it as well. It's now come out that Nice don't want to sell Thuram. They want to keep him for another year, and they're trying to get a bidding war because they don't want to sell him cheap. Let's be honest, they don't want to sell their star player cheap. And I said this 2 weeks ago on Coppish TV that Dominik Szoboszlai was going to be our marquee signing, and the whole Gabri Veiga was a smokescreen while we were secretly sorting out the Fabio Carvalho deal in Germany with Leipzig for Szoboszlai, because Szoboszlai said a couple of months ago he would love to play for Klopp, and Klopp's even said, I really like this guy. Like, he's liked him for a while, but his release clause must have only been uncovered when we were asking about Carvalho. It seems exactly the same as Brighton. Like, we've got a great relationship with the club. We've got players off them before, and now we're linked with one of the best journos in the world, David Ornstein. It really does tick all the boxes.
Do you think we need? Sorry, hi guys, nice to meet you. I haven't met any of you before.
Big up,
do you think we need Szoboszlai, if that's how you pronounce it? It's quite an interesting one. I don't know where it's come out from, to be honest. Like, I think he's a great player, and I welcome new additions to the squad that enhance, our depth and quality. But is he a necessity? I don't know.
I was
Henderson by a country mile.
The same question. Like, shouldn't we be spending it somewhere in defense or something? Like, I don't know.
Well, we've now made contact with Van der Ven and Wolfsburg now. That's now come out today. So, we might have to gazump Tottenham.
The thing is,
Tottenham apparently want him, which is interesting.
Who's this?
We know we can take players that Tottenham want.
Van der Ven.
Yeah, we took Luis Diaz off them. That's why I called them Tottenham bottlers.
They are the chief bottlers.
Szoboszlai's stats in midfield are insane, by the way. Like, I know a lot of people are talking about the goals and the assists, but you want to see his ground duels and his.
What's his actual position?
He's
I don't
a
know.
monster.
Do you know where his actual position is?
Yeah, he's centre midfield, but he floats over to the left as well. I know we've got a lot of left.
Floats to the right as well.
He's an attacking midfielder.
So, like,
plays right, centre,
McAllister,
attacking mid.
A bit of a McAllister type of player, maybe a bit more athletic.
If we play the double pivot, and we're not linked with any DMs again, so for me, Trent just looks like he's just going straight in there for me.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie. I think we're just gonna have a bunch of headless chickens again. I just don't like that type of football. I can't lie. I like structure. Like I think every team that wants to win the league needs a Rodri, Caicedo, a Partey type. I don't think we can just have a whole bunch of Trents running around or McAllister's running around. Like, nah.
I'll just quickly add, I was having this debate with my brother, and he kept telling me how, because I kept saying we need to change our style of play. Right, we need to change the way we play. We can't keep doing this high pressing crap all the time. Like, change it, because it'll figure us out like they did last season and 2021. and you will get caught out. Now, if you keep using the same tactics, the same formations, it gets boring. It gets repetitive. And he kept saying to me,
I agree. Personally, for me, I think I'm a bit more optimistic about this season, providing we can keep our best players fit. Because I genuinely think we're sleeping on Bajcetic. Now, he's really young, and I think like putting a lot of faith in him is crazy. But it's a classic Liverpool thing to do. You know, we're not going to sign Rice for 100 million. We're not going to sign Caicedo. You know, we know by like players like Rodri, Casemiro. We're obviously the type of club that, you know, give our youngsters 1,000,001 different things to do. But on this occasion, I think Bajcetic is up for the job. I don't know about you guys, but I think if he stays fit and we play Thiago, McAllister around him, Curtis Jones maybe. Obviously, more signings are 100% necessary, but we keep our crop, you know, our good quality players fit. I genuinely am quite optimistic. It's annoying not signing players. It's annoying not being linked with them. But that's a whole different discussion. Why are we not linked with them? You know, what's the culture? What's the philosophy of our transfers and stuff like that? But just looking at what we have, do you guys feel the same optimism? I don't know.
Nope.
I like Stefan. I think he's got a bright future. I'd like to see him play a bit more advanced than the 6. I think he's got ability further up the field, where I'd like to see him play a bit higher up. But I don't want to rush him. That's my thing. I don't want to rush. I think just have the guy part of the squad, get some players in, so he don't feel like, I have to be the player because this club never went and bought anyone, so I've got to step up. That puts pressure on a player. Go and get some players in and use him as part of the squad, because I think he's got a very, very bright future. And if Liverpool keep him, coach him properly, get him settled and get him into a position that suits him best, you know, I think he can definitely be an asset to us next season and following years. But I don't want to put too much pressure on him straight away. You know, that's why we need to go and buy midfielders. So, you know, I'd rather keep him than Henderson. Yeah. I'd rather keep him than Fabinho. Yeah. I'd rather keep him than Thiago. I mean, you know, because he's the future. You know, these are not the future, these guys. You know, they're the present and they're here. But Liverpool have got to not just look at this transfer market. They need to look at the years ahead, which is something Liverpool never do. Exactly. You know, we should be looking at next summer's transfer window as well. So people like Stefan should be like a player that, right, has he got a future? Do we believe in this kid? Do we like what we saw? If so, keep him in the squad. Get players to come in now that can play with him, you know, so he doesn't have to do too much, and bringing him slowly. There's no rush for these things, in my opinion. But
exactly what I've been saying. I've been saying this for weeks on Coppish TV, on your channel. I've been saying this for weeks. You can't just sit here and rely on an 18-19-year-old and throw him in the first team against flipping Manchester City with 0-0, right? In the 75th minute, right? You need to go to win a Champions League or a Premier League title. You can't. You have to have players around him. This is insane. You have to have quality around him. You have to have players that are going to come in and nurture this guy. You don't throw him in there into the wolves, as they like to call it. You don't throw him into the flipping to the devil. Like, what is this? You don't do that.
But that's what Liverpool do, though. Like, we did that with Trent. We've done that a number of times with players. That's kind of Liverpool's ammo. We do throw them into the wolves. Thing about Liverpool right now, though, is we are lacking loads of midfielders because we've just lost 3, and we've also got 2 injury-prone midfielders still in the squad, in Thiago and now Henderson. You know, at the end of the day,
I'll put Fabinho in there as well. Definitely,
he's not injury-prone. No, he's not injury-prone.
No, but he's picked up a lot more.
Yeah, he's declining, definitely.
Yeah.
But now we're linked with more midfielders. Everyone's like going crazy about the fact we're not signing any players. We've just signed a World Cup winner. Like, there's only about 4 players that have been signed in the Premier League so far. Okay, so people need to like kind of just give it a little bit of chill.
Yeah,
okay?
but
We're linked with the right people.
I think
we're linked with the right people, and we've got links with the right people. As in, we've dealt with clubs before. We bought players from these clubs before. Look how smooth it went with Brighton and McAllister. Look how smooth it didn't go with Brighton and Caicedo to Arsenal, because he's not going to Arsenal now because they pissed off Tony Bloom by going to his agent, which is why they're paying 105 million for Declan Rice. because he can't get Caicedo. And I'm buzzing with that because Arsenal are about to rip out their entire midfield.
Yeah, but
one's
you know
going
what?
to prison,
Matt,
and the other one's going to Roma because he loves Jose Mourinho. And they're about to get
chime in very quick?
players.
We don't know if he's going to prison or not. Let's not do that.
Which one's that one? Who's that one?
But you know what?
Who was going to go?
It's a little bit more annoyed of the fact that even though we've got somebody like McAllister, we probably should be going after somebody like Caicedo, but Liverpool just won't. That's just. I think that's more of the frustration.
I've got a good candidate for you, mate. Alan Varela.
Alan Varela, I knew he was going to say.
I think Gangadeep said it. I think Gangadeep said it in the line. I think I saw Gangadeep. I think I saw Gangadeep.
Paul's been throwing his name out for weeks now, man. We need to pay attention to this for real.
If he goes to someone else and he performs, you'll be coming back to him saying, "Yeah, you're right." Because this boy's quality, he's mustard. I'll tell you that much. And he's.
Can I just chime in on something very quickly?
No, but it's crazy. We should be going for Barella 100%. The fact that we're not getting him is crazy. We're Liverpool. We're actually Liverpool. Barella's at Inter Milan and we're Liverpool. I think
no. This one's a
You do know how many Italians have come over to the Premier League? Like you can count them on my hands. Like they don't come to the Premier League, and loads of them have been flops.
They're homesick as well.
Liverpool didn't end very well, did it?
They're homesick.
You ain't moving from the highlights of Milan to Annie Road.
And they get paid just
so it's different standards.
Just like Real Madrid players aren't coming to us either.
It's like is it Tonali? Yeah. Apparently, he never wanted to leave AC Milan. He's peed off about it.
He was crying. He was crying apparently.
But Milan were in so much money problems, they had to sell him. They had no choice, and he didn't want to leave. So I think that's going to be a big transfer for Newcastle. That is because he's a lot of money and he's a good player. And if he's going to go there and he's not going to give all his all because he doesn't really want to be there, that could be an issue for Newcastle next season.
I would say he's going to be back at Milan in a year.
Can I just throw one more player into the mix that we're linked with? And this come up today, okay? And this has been bubbling over for a couple of days now. So Nat Phillips is looking like he's going to go to Leeds, okay? We're trying to do a swap deal. We're trying to do a swap deal.
Tyler Adams,
yeah?
No. We're trying to do a swap deal of money for Willy Gunto. How good is he?
No, what the hell are we doing?
No,
what in the name of garbage is that?
Not yet.
Have you seen that kid?
No. We don't need him.
He's brilliant. He's really
Can I chime in?
That hasn't done too bad. Come to the Premier League.
Let Gags jump in. Let Gags jump in.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so one thing I just wanted to touch on very quickly is, okay, I do get the fan base where I don't want to throw all my toys out of the pram because the transfer window has just opened. So I do get the sense of being patient because we've still got however many months until the transfer window ends, and it's literally only been open for a couple of weeks. But one thing I do want to go back on is the fans that criticize the pessimistic fans by saying that they're negative. The reason why I do want to kind of go back at them specifically is because we're only really going off of previous year's negligence in the transfer market in terms of activity.
Yeah.
So let's be honest, we haven't had a great transfer window since 2018. Where we've covered every single area we've needed to fully prepare ourselves for the season ahead. Every single window since, we've left ourselves short by one or two players just because we're trying to, get a better deal or trying to knock 10 to 15 million off the price for certain players, where we've signed players window too late. And I just wanted to touch on that because until the club becomes proactive and actually pulls their finger out, and signs the players that we need and covers the areas we need to prepare us for the season ahead, there are going to be fans that are going to go into pretty much every window until that happens in a pessimistic view. And I think they're in their right mind to do that, to be honest with you. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, I do get the fact, I understand like our model and this profile of players that we have signed, the ones, but quite a lot of them have been projects, or they've been like the rung below where they've got a level 2 go to become ready made. The issue I have with that is we're linked with a lot of project players, and a lot of the project players we're linked with are they needle movers in the sense, are they gonna be the difference to make sure that we get back to challenging again? Only reason why I ask that is because we're not at that stage where we're building to get to the top. I assume everyone considers us like a team that is at the pinnacle and would like to stay at the pinnacle and get back to challenging, and consider us as a top team. And if you want to consider and if you want to stay there, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to vary the type of players that you do go for. Project players are absolutely fine, but you need to mix it up a bit. You need to go you need to go for ready-made and project players. You can't just go for project players or players that are 1 or 2 levels below becoming that ready-made and fulfilling their potential, because you're just gonna stagnate.
We're not gonna do that, Gags.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Declan Rice or a Caicedo.
Well, that's the issue. That's the issue. That's an issue.
So we're looking at a Thuram who's played in Europe, plays for France.
Yeah, cool.
Got 200 games plus under his belt. We're looking at a Kone, same, 200 games under his belt. Looking at a Szoboszlai, who's like actually won stuff. I think he's won cups, and he's played in the Champions League loads, and he's also full international captain for his country.
But you know what?
We're doing smart business.
I don't think we're going to get, because I think he's going to.
We haven't signed a midfielder in like 3 years, and everyone's whinging.
But Mike,
we just signed a midfielder.
I think Thuram's going to play well.
What are you talking about?
Just signed a midfielder.
No, I know. Yeah, we have. It's brilliant. It's not whinging, asking for.
Why is everyone Nancy negative? Like we've
no,
never
it's
been
not
linked to
being
loads of
negative.
players.
It's not being
linked to loads of players that we can afford.
No, it's not negative. We're just discussing the quality of the people that we're linked with, and we're questioning whether they're the right players. And we're looking at our rivals and thinking, oh, hold on a sec. Shit, Arsenal Football Club are signing Rice. Okay, fine, maybe we do things differently. But then we're also discussing like the culture around our transfers and why we're struggling to like even pay for like Valverde. And also the fact is we cannot forget, we have been, like as Gag said, we have been sold short in the last few windows. The fact is we have a lot of reparations to do, and what Klopp has done has been a miracle over the last 2 years. Last season showed that we have completely bottled it in the transfer windows, and we will cost us. We're in the Europa League now, so I think it is very, very important we get this right, because we don't want to be playing Europa League football in the future. There is more pressure this season in stuff because we didn't win anything last season, and we want to make sure it's right under Klopp, because stop with the miracle working. Let's just get a squad together who can win stuff easily. I mean, this is our golden era. It's meant to be our golden era. Do you know what I mean? Let's get the signings right. I wouldn't say whinging. Do you know what I mean?
Klopp is not getting younger. You got to remember that Klopp's not getting younger, so we don't have all that much time to be doing project, building a house from scratch. We don't have that much time. And on top of that as well, earlier we did say that nowadays there's not a lot of quality footballers out there, and the fact that other clubs are just picking off the ones that are left one by one as soon as possible is scary, especially with our like model in terms of not wanting to pay high fees and stuff like that. So it is quite worrying, because there's no way we can have 10 project players and hoping, oh yeah, Pathetic is going to do well, or Harvey Elliott's going to now turn into Coutinho Prime. Like, come on, you can't be doing all of that.
Could I just make one little point on that,
Mike,
if you don't mind?
Go for it. Go.
I think that like the big disconnect here that people don't realize is that, 3 years ago, we put bets on all of these players and every single one of them hit. That's not going to happen. Like that's such a rarity. That's such an exception. And the problem is that I can't have a problem with who we're linked with because I know who our owners are and I know what FSG is and I know what their goals are, right? They're not ambitious. They don't want to win. They're not Newcastle. They're not Manchester City. Manchester City spend all of this money because they want to fill up their trophy case. So they're going to prioritize that. With the model that we have, I don't see how you could be angry because we all know that. I mean, you're driving yourself insane. Like we're never going to get these players because we're prioritizing profit when in reality there's over 1,000 clubs in Europe and only about 14 of them registered a profit last year. And I think
Arsenal done the same thing though. Arsenal used to be like us, and look what they're doing now.
Yeah, 100%, and that's because Arsenal's owners have ambition. Like I'm saying that in our case.
Why though? Yeah, but why? Because of the fans, right? Because the fans had enough, right?
100%.
Well,
the only way you're going to get rid of FSG is with the fans.
With Arsenal, the difference with Arsenal, the owners they were going. The Cronkies at the time didn't have the majority share of Arsenal Football Club. That was the difference back then. And as soon as the Cronkies had the majority share of Arsenal Football Club, Arsenal have been spending. So as soon as they became the majority owners, they started spending. And if you look at the Cronkies, they have conquered the world of sport, so they're trying to do it with football now. So they're trying to do it with Arsenal. So they're putting money in. So, yeah, they're doing it on that front. Look, with what Gangdeep said.
Their team's just won the NBA, haven't they?
Yeah, they're winning everything, man.
Their team's just won the NBA, yeah. The Denver Nuggets, I think they're called.
Yeah,
just won the NBA finals, mate. So, yeah.
But like what Gangdeep said about project players and future players, I agree with as well. Like, I've always been peed off that Liverpool never go and get the good quality youngsters quick enough, and we wait too long, and then they become too expensive that we can't buy them. So if they're available and they're there, go and get them. That's what I say. Go and get them and future-proof your side for the next few years. I think what we need to do as a team, like, I'm going to be quite realistic. We finished outside the top 4 last season. We got quality players in our squad. There's no doubt about that. We had a bad year. My goal for next season is just finishing in the top 4 again. That's my goal.
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
I agree.
With respect,
that's not good enough. Hang on. The reason I'm saying that is because you've got to look at the landscape of football right now.
We're not going to win the league. Don't be silly. Come on.
That's the problem.
Man City are killing it.
Massive rebuild. Like,
I
don't think people understand how big a rebuild we have.
Guys, let Jamie talk.
Man City are killing it. Would anyone be shocked if they won 4 in a row? Probably not. Newcastle are coming to money. They're buying players now. Man United I don't know about Man United actually. Let's put them to the side a minute because they seem dead. Chelsea are going to be right back up there. They just need a striker. My daughter just walks in the room half naked. Hang on, guys. You chat about what I just said, guys, and I'll just sort this out. Go for it.
I don't think people understand how big a rebuild we've got to do. Like we've literally just
lost. I don't think it's that big.
4 players.
No, I don't understand. Wait, K-Mac. Wait, so you're saying we need a big rebuild, but then you were saying like people whinging that we haven't signed more midfielders. Like, what? I don't understand.
No, people are upset that Jamie just said that top 4 is probably our priority next season.
Well, no, it's not.
I think it is.
No, but you listen to what every player has been saying. Robertson said it recently. Konate, Van Dijk, they're all saying we want to get back to win trophies. McAllister's just signed a World Cup winner. He's literally saying our mentality is trophies. I think we're much better than just top 4. Like, I think most people know that. Like, we still have an unbelievable squad. We still have
I didn't say anything about a cup. Like, I want us to win the Europa League.
Yeah, absolutely. Our squad is definitely not unbelievable. I think we're pushing.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think we are big time.
I mean,
we're literally one defender away from Gomez or Matip. Like,
who said unbelievable? Who said unbelievable squad?
Liverpool with the right signings. Yeah, I do think. Well, okay, maybe not unbelievable, but I think it's a good enough squad to compete.
I think the squad's better than people give it credit for. Yeah,
I do think so.
Yeah,
You know, Thiago, I think people forget. Can we just talk about Thiago? Like, let's say he stays fit. This is a world-class midfielder we have. I know he hasn't stayed fit, but obviously, like, as fans, we have faith in, like, the impossible when it comes to our situation. But if he does stay fit, then that's
Thiago's not going to work for us. Like, I don't think, again, like players like Thiago, the Coutinhos, like the Bernardo Silvas, like these players need other people to do the dirty work. There's no point of having Thiago and then telling him, oh yeah, by the way, can you also do box to box plus add a little bit of Kante, plus add a little bit of KDB, plus add a little bit of Coutinho as well, by the way.
Yeah, but he had Fabinho with him. You know, remember 3 seasons ago when we came third or fourth, was it, in 2021?
Yeah, but obviously, I'm looking at it now and I'm saying players like Fabinho, they're not doing as well as they used to. So that is like, if you want players like Barella, like if you want players like Barella, if you want players like the Thiagos and stuff like that, if you're not going to have a sitting CDM, or at least another world-class CB that can do, you know, maybe also play right back as well, because if Trent's going to go midfield, because I don't trust Gomez, because I think he gets lined up one-on-one like no tomorrow. But if you're going to have these luxury players, you need to have players like a Casado, like I know Kante's gone, but you need those types of players that are just happy just to sit there and just help defensively. Otherwise,
maybe we're going to have a system shift. I don't know if we're going to play 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 or this type of stuff. Who knows what we're going to do?
We'll find out pre-season, and we'll find out pre-season if we're going to be any good.
Hang on, guys.
I knew last season we were going to be shit through pre-season.
Kai Havertz has just officially become a gooner. Arsenal just put it on their Twitter page.
They're about to spend 170 million. Arsenal, 170 million. Jesus,
I think it's hilarious. They're getting gas for no reason.
Hey, at least.
Well, hold on. I just want to back up real quick. I don't think people really understand that we had our worst season ever, and we were only 3 points off of United. Like exactly. I think people really need to step away from the ledge and really kind of like get realistic and think to yourselves, we were over 70 points in our worst season that we've ever seen, that I've ever seen. Like, we were so terrible. And yet we're only this far off top 4. I think to say that top 4 is the goal would be to say that your goal is to play as good as last season. No offense intended, Jamie. I think that we're not that far off of anything, really. Like, if Joe Gomez is not in that game against Real Madrid, it's a different story. If Darwin Nunez scores 50% of the goals that he could have scored, I mean, the guy could have been on 35 this season. If he scores, no, hold on. There was at least 6 points worth of missed goals out of Darwin Nunez. I know I'm not trying to make excuses for the past. I'm just trying to iterate how close everything is. It's not like we're going week in, week out and we're a hopeless bunch. Okay. It's just little things that weren't executing with a combination of injuries. And now if you add a few project players with the owners that we have, because I'm not going to be unrealistic and entertain these ideas of Valverde and Barella and all of these other guys. I mean, like it's blowing smoke in my own personal opinion, but we're not that far off, and other people are not that good. Like, outside of Manchester City, there's no one in this league that genuinely scares me. And I don't think that it's crazy to say that we're guaranteed top 4.
Come on. Arsenal's attack is better than ours. Don't be silly.
No, absolutely, dude. I listen.
Attack.
Arsenal's attack.
Arsenal's attack.
Listen.
Midfield.
Mike is spot on.
Listen, I don't want to argue other teams because I'm not an Arsenal fan and I don't care about Arsenal. And I don't give a shit about Chelsea. I don't give a shit about City. All I know is that if Jurgen Klopp had switched to the inverted in January, we would not be sitting here and having this conversation. So if we look at the whole world and we look at the whole ocean and we boil it down, we'll understand that our problems aren't as big as they may seem. While they are big, and I hate FSG and I want them out, and I want ambitious owners, I don't think that we're that screwed.
But you know what you need to do, and it's really easy. You literally need to look at the starting 11 of every other team above us last season.
Mate,
and you put pound to pound against our starting 11, and there ain't many players that beat us.
Mate,
there ain't many players, and most of them are in Man Cities.
There's no one in our midfield that's dominated. There's no one in our midfield that's dominating. Don't talk to me about Hendo. Don't tell me about Fabinho that's on holiday. Like, please stop it. Don't you
I
can't.
think we could make something work. We're living in the unknown right now, to be honest, because we're signing new players, playing new systems. We don't actually know how it's going to work. To be honest, I think
anything can happen. To be honest,
I'd rather have Joe Linton than have flipping Hendo.
No, don't be silly.
Oh,
True,
yeah, okay.
true.
Let's just.
Joelinton's a
thing
great player, but I don't think.
We could be getting Dominik Szoboszlai and
we are
Thuram.
I don't
trying to say that's not an upgrade to Hendo.
Paul Joyce has just tweeted something, and I don't think we're getting anyone else in. He just said there's a lot of things, of rumours about Liverpool so far this summer, and a lot of it's been blown out of proportion. I think McAllister's it.
That's nonsense.
Jamie.
No, that's Jamie. Do you actually think so? Because, like, we've been told by everyone, we're going to sign a minimum of 4 players. This is the summer rebuild. We were told this in January. Like, there's no way McAllister just said seriously.
Let me just read his super chat and I'll get to it. Big up Sean. He says, "Big up Jamie." Well, that's Kone out the picture. She's been taken off in the under-21s with a massive knee injury.
That's a shame. That is.
Kone. Let me just look. I think Liverpool will get a McAllister. They got McAllister in, and I think Liverpool will get another midfielder in. I do think they'll get one more, but I think they're looking at what Trent does in that area of the pitch, and thinking Trent can be that third midfielder at times, and I can understand why. For me, that don't mean you should go and not buy a third or fourth midfielder, because you probably should, and have Trent in there as well, because Trent's amazing. But this is the way I think Liverpool are looking at it. With Trent Alexander-Arnold, if you play him into that position, how many midfielders can you buy in the world that have the ability Trent does on the ball?
No one.
Not many. Not many. So that's the way. I think that's the way Liverpool going to be looking at it like that. If you go and get a McAllister in, and you go and get another player in as well, like a Thuram or someone like that can come into this midfield. That boosts Liverpool's team up a little bit. This whole we need a number 6 thing, I don't think you need a number 6 as much as we might think, because I think Klopp wants to go back into a way that the midfield defends as one, and we don't just play with one DM, like the team defend as one. If your midfield is good enough, they can defend as a unit without having to go out and blitzing and buying a brand new number 6. And I think that's the reason Liverpool are not really looking at a number 6 this summer. They're trying to get players in who can play hybrid 6 and 8s. If you look at everyone we're buying,
then the one then, because it's literally our only number 6 is a Pachetic and Fabinho, and also Henderson, who I think
I don't trust Fabinho.
And the Henderson thing.
I don't trust him.
And the Henderson thing, right? I've heard this from a Liverpool source actually. All right, and you guys gotta hate this. Hendo is being looked at as maybe a player that can play right back next season.
What? Jamie, that's where I sign off.
We are going crazy.
Jamie, there's a guy in the chat. There's a guy in the chat called Antoango, and he's hit the nail bang on the head. What was the point in George Smacked if McAllister is the only signing? Because he didn't sign him. He didn't sign McAllister. Julian Ward did.
That was Julian Ward, yeah.
I mean,
well, he's here for 3 months, isn't he?
And all of a sudden, we're linked with a midfielder. And all of a sudden, we're linked with a midfielder that's playing in Germany. So, I mean, that came out of nowhere. So, but the Hendo thing, yeah. So the word is that they see Hendo now doing the Milner role next season. Minutes, he won't get much game time next season. That's what they're saying. Watch him play every week. Right, he's not going to get much minutes, not game time next season. He's going to do the Milner role. And I've always said on the air, he can't because he's not versatile like Milner. You know, Milner can play at fullback, you know, and have a decent game at fullback. I don't, you know, Milner's playing right back. I don't always cringe. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I actually trust him. Fair enough, right? Play him there, right? Because he's versatile. He can play in them positions. And then I'm like, Trent and Hendo's not versatile. Hendo is your static now midfielder, right? I used to love Hendo, but he's just got to an age now he can't run no more. So he's static in that midfield. But then there's talks about like Liverpool are not after a right back at all. So think of this, guys. Liverpool are not after a right back at all. Yeah, not after a right back at all. They've loaned out all their right backs, and then news comes out
at the back next season.
Hendo can play
back next season.
Hendo, I don't think we're going. No, Klopp's already said we're playing 4-3-3.
We're at the back with who? What? With who?
Well, this is why I'm saying 4-3-3. Klopp's position as manager is now in danger.
And I agree with that.
Wait, 3 at the back with who though? Like that's just one injury away, and that's it.
This on Coppish TV, his position
We
as
already do
manager
that.
now.
We already play a back three. I mean, if you watch the games, half of the game it's just the back three with Trent in midfield. Like it's not on paper, but it is throughout the game.
No, I think Trent has to be playing midfield. I think we're losing a bit of if Trent starts a right back, plays the inverted role, we're losing a bit of
I'm sorry, that's more like a back two. Robertson's non-existent for me, so that's more like a back two.
Fair point.
That's the issue. That's the biggest issue for me is what's going on with Robinson, because he can't play centre back. He just can't, and he played that last season, like the last half of the season. He was dreadful. Like that is a big issue.
Before we carry on, guys, Ends need to pop off. See you later, Ends. Thank you very much.
I appreciate it, man.
Have a good one.
Catch you later, Ends.
All right, big up you guys, man. But stop rattling the people, though, Jamie, man, with this Hendo right back. Bro. Allow it, man.
I changed the subject straight away.
Allow it. I couldn't agree more, Ends, man.
No, I'm keeping the subject going.
Nah, don't start a trend, bro, because people already don't like Hendo as he is, and then you're gonna say he's playing right back. Nah, man, leave the captain alone.
The guy wins no duels or does any tackles in midfield. What do you think he's going to do at right back? You're going to watch people run past him.
Big up you guys, man.
Well, each passing day, this club becomes Looney Tunes all over again, mate.
I'd rather play Fabinho at right back. He used to be a right back.
Fabinho at right back would be disastrous.
Like he used to be a right back.
Done. Finished. You can't put Fabinho right back. Like what in the name of garbage is this?
Damien, I was going to ask you a question quickly. I just wanted to touch on the point where you said I don't think we need a number 6 because we want to go back into defending like as a whole in midfield as a whole, right? That's what you mentioned, right? But the thing is in our pomp, when we did do that in a flat 3, we did that with a competent 6 who not only defended from the front but also shielded the back 4 as well. So if you're saying that we want to go back to that particular style where we want to defend as a collective from the front, like from midfield, like an attack, then surely we would need a 6, no?
The reason I say this, and I agree, I want us to buy a 6, but I think this is the way the club's looking at it. That we started conceding less goals when Trent's position moved, right? As soon as Trent's position moved, our goals to game ratio conceding changed. And we got more possession of the ball. We ran more in midfield, and interceptions in midfield went up to what they were before Trent moved that position. And also with Curtis Jones as well. Curtis Jones, people don't like Curtis Jones, I understand it, but Curtis Jones was one of them players that defends really well in midfield. He runs back, he wins challenges, he wins interceptions. He's always busy in that midfield area. Klopp loves that. We know that. He loves them kind of midfielders. And I think if you get a team like that around Fabinho in Liverpool's eyes, I think that will coach them next season back into the top 4. But the season, look, I've said it already. I've said it many times. Fabinho should be sold this summer, and we should be getting the number 6 in. But
we can't have passengers in our team.
But if they're not going to do that, I think they're going to do it this way. I think Trent's going to play that inverted role again next season, where we might go to 3 at the back at times. And that is why Hendo, for me, has a big part in his team still, because he will slot into that right back area at times. And
well, we're going to get absolutely battered then.
I agree more, Bruno.
I see this happening. So I said, I wouldn't be surprised on the opening game of the season. Guys, we play Chelsea away on the opening day of the season.
We played right back. We're done.
We play Chelsea.
Modric
We
would take
play-
him to the cleaners, man. I tell you, if he
We
plays it
played,
right back.
guys. We played Chelsea on the opening game of the season away from home. What's the chances of our midfield three being McAllister, Hendo, and Fabinho?
Very high.
99%.
And if it is, if it is, I'm Klopp out.
I hate to say it, but he's
Oh god,
That's hilarious. I just can't get my head round. I can't get my head round.
It's not going to be that.
Why
He's
we
got
would
to
not
go,
play
man. I'm
Trent
sorry,
in
but he has
midfield
to
next
go.
season.
Well, hold on. I just want to say though that like with Fabinho as a role player, like if Fabinho plays half the games, right? Like he's not starting. He's not that bad. Like he was not that bad towards the end of the season when we weren't having other competitions and it was just one game a week and he was keeping fit. Like I think that Fabinho could be used for depth. I don't think that you need to sell him. You could if you want. I don't know how much money you're going to get him for, but like I'd be fine with 15, 16 appearances coming in and shoring up games.
Europa League. You can play Europa League.
Exactly.
Did you watch Fabinho against Southampton?
Contributing. Fabinho needs to be contributing
I didn't say he was perfect. I didn't say he was perfect.
Hang on, guys. I think JK needs to leave. Big up, JK.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in, man.
Nice to chat with everyone. Have a great.
Yeah,
And
take
you,
care,
man.
mate. Take care.
See you again soon,
Thanks for
man.
having
See you
me,
again soon.
I could carry on all night, but I've got to bounce. See you
No
guys.
worries, man. See you next week.
Bye.
Catch you in a bit, Mom.
Go on, carry on the conversation, guys. Go for it.
I'm
Where's
with
you left
Bruno. I
off?
think Fabinho needs to be sold.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Get
I
rid-
think
this
that.
isn't a retirement home, man.
I think Fab needs to go as well. I just think we'll come to that stage in his career that I don't think. See, my problem with Fabinho is Fabinho's never been quick. He's always slow off the thing. But with Fabinho, it was all about up here with him, wasn't it? His game was played up here. He was always a step ahead at his best because his positioning, his mental side of his game was top notch. Yeah. I don't think a mental side of his game is ever going to come back to him because I think he's fried. I literally just think he's fried as a player and he needs a change. I don't think he'll ever get that mental step back in his game where, you know, when he was at his the thing with Fabinho at his peak, at his level, what he was so good at was his reading of the game was top notch. You know, he didn't rely on pace or anything like that. 'Cause he's reading the game was excellent. He got himself in positions to win the ball, break things down, and stuff like that. Top notch. Does anyone actually ever see that coming back into his game now? That's my problem.
No.
It's fully burned out.
Wasn't there loads of rumours about Fabinho? He was having family issues. Didn't someone die in his family as well?
Oh, I don't know.
No, it was to do with his wife Rebecca.
Yeah,
they were going through a breakup or something.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, at the
There's
end of the
also
day,
rumours that he was in a Premier Inn, weren't there? He was living in a Premier Inn in Liverpool.
People do have problems in their lives, and it can affect their game. And he did literally just fall off a cliff, and no one really seen that coming. You just don't know. Like you'll find out in pre-season whether he's going to be any good or not.
Can I just quickly add as well? The amount of yellow cards this guy's got, he's going to get sent off as well. I'm going to say it right now. He's going to get sent off 7-8 times. Watch.
Man, what was that game he should have been sent off on when he came on a sub in about 5 minutes towards the end of the season?
Brighton.
Brighton FA Cup.
That was the worst. That was the worst performance I've ever seen by Liverpool.
Yeah, that was horrible.
He could have been sent off about 4 times in that game in about 10 minutes.
Terrible, man.
Every time he tackles, he gets a yellow card. Like, is he trying to act like he's prime flipping Mascherano of 2009? Like, what in the name of garbage is this?
Mascherano was still had a little bit controlled aggression though.
He did. On midfield, Jamie. So out of Newcastle, Arsenal, Man City, do you think that our midfield is anywhere close to those teams?
Nope.
Has our midfield been any close to any of the top European teams in Europe when we are winning things as well? That's what I'd say. Like when we won the Premier League and Champions League, when it was arguably the best team in Europe, our midfield was Hendo, Gini, and Fabinho. That was our main midfield three.
Well, Fabinho was considered top 3 DMs.
But Gini and Hendo, come on.
Yeah, I'm talking about right now. We've got
about 6 months.
I think a fit Thiago. Look, my thing with Thiago, apparently Thiago was meant to have hip surgery 18 months ago. But the club put it off because They thought they could just do it by rehab and physiotherapy, and Thiago thought the same.
Oh.
And all his injuries have come because of his hip. So I'm hoping that his hip's done. He has a proper pre-season. Remember, Thiago's never had a real pre-season with Liverpool, so hopefully he has a proper pre-season this year. Hip's done. Look, a fully fit Thiago is a match for anyone. There's no doubt. McAllister. Let's be fair. If Liverpool didn't buy McAllister, I think Man City would have. So he's definitely good enough. And then yeah, that's it. That's it. But look, Trent. If Trent goes into midfield, Trent's as good as anyone there is. So you know that it stands up. But look, it's all about systems at the end of the day. If Tonali goes to Newcastle and he plays like he actually doesn't want to be there, you know, that's a waste. Joel Linton is a midfielder that really does nothing, and he's just aggressive in the pitch. I'm not a big fan of Joel Linton. He's a roided up Brazilian, ain't he? He just does nothing. Sounds like Henderson. Joel Linton is Newcastle's Hendo. That's what he is. That's what he is. He doesn't score goals. He doesn't really. He's
more like Roy Keane.
He's just aggressive. He's just aggressive on the pitch. He's just
JB, you say that, but his goal record improved when he went into midfield because he used to make he started making late runs into the box.
Listen, he scored 6 goals, you know. I don't
know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I don't like it. But remember, Liverpool had the best midfield in the Premier League at one time.
And then they've got Bruno Guimaraes and that guy from Arsenal. What's his name again? Willock?
Yeah, Willock's jank. But Bruno Guimaraes is quality. But
guys, we're all talking about other midfielders.
Hang on. Liverpool's midfield, the best midfield I've ever seen Liverpool have was arguably the best midfield in England. Was Momo Sissoko, Xabi Alonso, Mascherano, and Steven Gerrard, and it won nothing. I mean, I don't know.
So we're talking about midfielders, yeah, and we're talking about other clubs. Okay, so if we don't sign anyone else in midfield, tell me this isn't a good midfield for next season, like literally for the big games, yeah? Trent Alexander-Arnold, Thiago, and Alexis McAllister for 3 midfielders. You're trying to say that's not a good midfield?
No, but again, you're forgetting defense.
You've got Jones, Fabinho, Henderson, and Sesic.
But who sits? Who's the pivot? Single pivot.
Like, you're very much just thinking about this creativity. I'm thinking about defensively as well. Defensively. That is like we need
in the defense. You have to have a good defense.
It's not just about
personally, I'd play a double pivot of Fabinho and Thiago, Fabinho and Trent. That would be my double pivot.
Oh my god, that is frightening.
I would play Fabinho and Trent as my double pivot, and then I'd let McAllister get further forward. You know, that would be. I don't want McAllister defending too much. I want McAllister to get involved like he does for Argentina a little bit higher up the pitch because he's got quality. That would be my preferred midfield 3. But it depends what Klopp wants to play. You know, we're all thinking he's going to play 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1. He plays Gakpo as the 10. Because this is the thing we want to talk about as well, guys. Darwin Nunez got the number 9 shirt. So Darwin Nunez has been given the number 9 shirt. And that tells me he's going to be Liverpool's main striker next season. So what do we do with Cody Gakpo? Because Cody Gakpo impressed me from January to the end of the season in that position, playing out of position. Now he plays there for the Netherlands. So what do we do with Cody Gakpo next season? Because I automatically thought he's going to be our main striker next season. But Darwin got the number 9 shirt.
Did you watch Henderson? Did you watch Henderson for the last 10 games of the season? He had about 40 touches in the box every game. You know.
Yeah, and made one pass.
There's no reason why that can't be Gakpo.
Yeah,
no reason why that can't be Gakpo.
Exactly.
That could be Gakpo, and Nunez can play where Gakpo plays, and he could be the top of the pivot.
Yeah, I've got a feeling we might play a lot of diamonds next season. But Drew, what did you guys say, mate?
So besides Salah, because I think obviously Salah will be, because for me, I always worry about like the amount of goals that our, I guess, attack scores, because our midfielders hardly score. So besides Salah, do you see Gakpo, Nunez? Again, to me personally, I don't think Diaz is like a goal-scoring winger. That's just me. I think Luis Diaz is more somebody like that will get you penalties, free kicks, or more than likely he'll hit the post or crossbar. That's just me. I think Diaz is that type of player. He's not going to get you like 20 goals a season in the Prem alone. I'm talking about
he's your creative winger, ain't he? That's what he is.
Well, besides Salah, who do you think is going to get at least like 50? Well,
I think
20 plus. I think we need 20 plus to win the. Like, we can't just allow Salah only.
I think Darwin will score 20 goals next season.
I'm not sure.
In the Prem,
Right,
hang on. I think Darwin will score 20 goals in all comps next season. He got 15 in all comps this season, and we said he weren't no good. So, and if he look how much he was injured and he missed 3 games through suspension, you know, I watched. I don't know about you guys, but Liverpool on their YouTube channel yesterday put all Liverpool's 109 goals on their channel, didn't they? On their YouTube channel yesterday, right? And I was sitting there watching it, and I was actually watching Darwin Nunez. Darwin Nunez is technically a better footballer than we give him credit for. Go back and watch this, guys. I applaud you to go and watch it. Darwin's goals are good goals, and he's got a good assist as well. He's a decent footballer. And I just feel like there's a player there with some quality. And with Gakpo, I look at Gakpo. Gakpo got 8 goals between January and the end of the season at a brand new club in a brand new country, playing that false 9 role. You give him a whole season, I reckon he's got 15 or 20 in him.
Jamie, I'm talking about Premier League alone. Because to me, that's like my pride and joy. Like, that's what I really care about. I know a lot of people like to, you get me, like they like to, you know, say all comps because they want to make the player look a little bit better than what he really did. But let's just talk about Premier League alone, because that's really what we need to worry about, not Europa League and FA. Do you get what I mean? Just in the Premier League alone, how many goals do you think?
I think Darwin can get 15 next season, Premier League alone.
I'm not sure.
It's going to get between 10 to 18.
The only team that had multiple goal scorers in double digits last season was
Manchester City.
In the Premier League was Arsenal.
Yeah,
Odegaard, Martinelli, and Saka.
Yeah.
You know, all City's goals came through Haaland. You know, it all depends. I'm looking at a Premier League. I'm looking at the goal scorers now. All like Haaland. Hang on, Haaland's at the top with 36 goals. Kane with 30. That goes so underrated. And then I'm looking at Callum Wilson got 18 for Newcastle, and then you got Odegaard got 15, Martinelli got 15, and Saka got 14.
Wait, where's Tony in there? Is there no Tony?
Tony got 20. He was third. 10 of them were penalties. And then the next City player on the goal scoring charts, you know who it is? Phil Foden.
Yeah.
He comes in 14th place,
and he hardly starts.
So this is what I'm saying. Like, how many goal scorers? Like, apart from Arsenal, who had multiple, and they still didn't win the league. So I think if you get Salah as your top goal scorer, because I think that's the player he is, 20 league goals, whatever it is. Darwin can get 15. Jota can get 10 to 15. Gakpo can get 10 to 15. I think that's all right, to be fair. I don't think that's too bad.
Jamie, one thing I would say.
You think that'll be enough to win the league? I don't know about winning the league.
Man City won the league with just Haaland.
That's because he racked up all the goals.
That's what I'm saying. So,
guys, you should watch. You should watch someone called 12th Man. He did a show just on Nunez. It's really, really interesting. Like, his stats are ridiculous. I know he missed a lot of chances, but a lot of big players missed a lot of chances as well. It's because he's in those positions. And I've got to eat a bit of humble pie as well because I slated Nunez. But if you do watch his goals, he can score some unbelievable goals. Like, he scores lots of different goals. Like, Salah just has, like, maybe the same type of goal all the time. Nunez has about 5 different types of finishes. Like, he's the real deal. Like, next season, he gets 30 plus goals.
Do we want a player who's a scorer of great goals, but not a great goal scorer?
I don't care about how it goes in or what it looks like. That's irrelevant.
As long as the ball is in the back of the net, no one gives a rat's ass.
If you don't buy a ticket, you don't win the lottery. You don't win the lottery.
Who's not a great goal scorer?
No. So, Jamie, this is what, because I was just coming back on K-Mac's point where he was saying if you look at a lot of Darwin Nunez, just like highlights, he scores incredible goals. And I just came back by saying, do we want a player who's a scorer of great goals but is not a great goal scorer?
Yeah, I understand. I understand what you're saying then.
I couldn't tell us if you with your eyebrow. Just let it go.
I think Darwin, Paul. I think your telly's on, mate. Yeah, it's Paul. I think Darwin. Look, it's definitely ability. It's definitely some ability there with Darwin. There's no doubt about it. If you go back and watch, Paul, you got some noise in the background, mate. If you go back to Darwin's goals and watch his goals, a lot of his best goals are all one-touch finishes. So he is a poacher, and that's what we need at times. But here's a question here by Martin. Are we sitting on Jota? Are we forgetting about Jota? Because Jota, look what he did towards the end of the season. Drew, how many goals does a fit Jota get next season?
He'll get more than Nunez.
Yeah, I will agree. He probably will get more than Nunez, but I think
he's got composure in front of goal, which Nunez doesn't have.
Yeah, I'll be honest.
You give Nunez too much time to think about. Give too much time to think when he's in front of goal. He's gonna miss.
Do you know what? Then again, Jamie, I think
Guys,
the issue.
Nunez scored 15 goals in his first season for Liverpool, and it was our worst season we've had under Klopp.
But guys,
but how many of them were instinctive finishes as opposed to
perspective?
He's going to score 15 goals.
But guys,
put
you
that
got to
into
remember
perspective.
that
he was chucked on the wing. He was chucked up front.
Yes, exactly.
His goal tally kind of adds up on both sides. By the way,
can't
he
chop and
scores
change
probably the same
every
amount of
player,
goals he does on the
yeah.
left and through the centre. And
we
if you look at his stats from Benfica, he had the same kind of season he had with us last season, and then he went on to score 36 goals the following season.
But you know what?
Nothing's going to change.
How would that help
He's on
Nunez?
track.
How would that help Nunez then, though? Because we can't chop and change. Because obviously, I get it. The way that we're talking is like as if we can just play 6 players.
We've now got a player called Alexis McAllister who can make the decisions for him.
Yes, but
before we had who?
But
Who
we
did we
need
have
one
in midfield
striker.
before?
We need
We had
one.
Henderson, Fabinho, Curtis Jones.
Okay, but we're talking about strikers
couple
right
of
now. We
others.
need one striker. We need to actually fix it on one striker. Because the same way that Man City have Haaland playing up there, the same way Arsenal have Gabriel Jesus playing up there, we need somebody that we know and we can trust. Okay, we're gonna give you the majority of the games in the season, and we need you to finish those chances. It's not every day.
We can't do that because we got Salah. We can't do it because we got Salah.
Drew,
Salah
do
doesn't
you know?
play striker, does he? Salah plays on the right.
Drew, do you know who that is? Do you know who that player is you're talking about?
Yeah, obviously, ideally it's going to be Nunez.
Bobby Firmino.
He's gone.
Bobby Firmino is that guy. No, I agree. I think Liverpool giving Darwin Nunez the number 9 shirt is a sign that he's going to play as the main striker next season. That's why I'm asking about Gakpo. Does he play Gakpo behind Darwin Nunez? Luis Diaz has got the number 7 shirt. That tells me he's going. I think Darwin Nunez missed Luis Diaz last season.
Yeah, I want to see that attack actually.
Because I think them two could play well together. Because is it Luis Diaz who set up both Darwin's goals against Arsenal last season before he got injured? That was the game Darwin got injured. Luis Diaz got injured in.
He set one of them up.
Yeah, he set one of them up off the right hand side, and they look like because Darwin naturally goes over to that left side, and Diaz gradually comes in from that left side. They look like they've got a good combination there. And I think if you play Darwin, I think Liverpool's main front three will be Luis Diaz, Mo Salah, Darwin Nunez. And then you've got Gakpo and Jota on the bench, which is good squad depth in the forward areas. That is one thing we can be happy about.
We need to let these players play. Even though we have Jota and Gakpo, like we can't just be chopping and changing like every other week. Like we've got to let these players actually play, solidify their position, and hopefully they're going to do well. But we can't just
Jamie, you know what would be a very Jamie, you know what would be an interesting front three?
Yeah,
while Salah's in AFCON, I'm literally just thinking about what you guys were talking and how to get the best out of Nunez in a 4-3-3.
See you next week. I've got to go.
I don't think because unless you play it this particular way, I don't think Nunez suits a 4-3-3. But I was just thinking, when Salah goes to AFCON, if you play Diaz right wing, because he's a creative winger as opposed to a goal scorer, play Nunez down the middle, and you play Gakpo left wing, who is also a creative, would be also more of a creative type of winger, as opposed to a goal scoring type of winger, even though he can do both, and you just feed Nunez. I think that's probably the best way to get. That's probably the best way to get the most productivity out of Nunez, because you have two wingers either side feeding him.
Yeah, I agree.
Can I just quickly add something on the whole?
Bruno.
Right. So, in January, yeah, you're saying all of those things, yeah, and then you look at the bench. There's no depth, no backup. Well, that's why I keep saying it. We need to buy a winger. If we don't, we're going to be in trouble. I keep saying it. I do not want to see Ben Doak or Javier at right wing. I'm telling you that now.
Do you know what it is, Bruno? I appreciate you, man, but I don't actually agree with the old Salah needs a backup player, because I go on the thing that Salah's like one of them players like Lewandowski, never had a backup. Messi never had a backup. Ronaldo never had a backup. And the reason is because they play all the time. They're your first team player. They're one of them players that you don't have a natural backup for. And I've always said it, the backup for Mo Salah would have to be a versatile player that can play in that role. And I think Gangadi said, when he goes away, I think Luis Diaz will be the right winger in them 3 or 4 games that Mo Salah's away for. I don't know what you guys think on that, but that's just my personal opinion. Anyway.
If we keep Jota, I think it'll be Jota, because Jota's played it before.
Oh, he's horrible in the right wing.
I'd rather have Luis.
I don't disagree. Right. Like he's been horrible on that side, but he's played that position before. Or why not try Elliott for once? I mean, did you look at him tonight? Like,
that's a huge
drop.
Nah, Elliott and Nunez wouldn't work, because that Elliott would have to like continuously go back on his left to try and cross it in. Nah.
Plus, there's a huge drop off there from Salah to Elliott. Huge drop off. I'm sorry.
There'd be a drop off.
There's no backup for him. That's what JB was saying. You don't need backup for Salah because he's never off the pitch.
But he needs.
Like, he doesn't want to come off the pitch.
But you have to force him to come off the pitch. You have to tell him, right, the game's done, right? You're coming off. You can't stay on the pitch 90 minutes again, right? You're going to get injured, mate. You have to come off. Even Ronaldo has come off the pitch when told. None of this staying on the pitch until 97 minutes.
Yeah, but he's breaking records, Bruno. Bruno, it's like if he stayed on an extra 5 minutes, then he could have got that record that he didn't get last season.
Do you guys remember when City had Sane? You see how he just went down the line, put it in the box. Went down the line, put it in the box. I think Nunez needs a player like that. Down the line, put it in the box for him first.
True, that's what I was saying. The best way to get the best Nunez, the best way to get productivity out of Nunez is you have to make him the focal point. And to do that, you have to have 2 creative wingers that are just going to feed him, which is why in the current system we play, it doesn't suit Darwin Nunez.
I don't really agree with that. I mean,
right now we're doing a lot of stopping and starting, and someone like Nunez that likes to do his runs like strategically in that moment, this stopping and starting, going back and forth, and that is why I don't want to see Elliott on the right wing, because literally if Elliott runs down the line, he literally has to stop, come back on his left, and think about crossing the ball again.
Have we suddenly forgot how good at crossing Salah is? Have you seen some of the assists that Salah got last season from crossing?
Yeah, but it's not the same as somebody that already has that. Come on.
I mean, we don't really
about the wrong thing here. We scored enough goals last season. That's never the issue. The issue is we've got a terrible defence behind 2 players. So if we lose Canate or Van Dijk, we are literally frightening how bad it is. And we've got a really bad midfield. Like, the attack is never the issue. Never has been.
Yeah, but I mean, even so, I mean, Darwin was not short of chances, right? Like, Darwin's only problem was lack of finishing. Like, I don't think that he has that big of an issue in this system. I don't think that there's any lack of opportunity. He's lacking the finishing, the final shot, which, I don't know if he's ever going to get it, because a lot of that's natural, and he does have great finishing, but it's not consistent. And he misses a lot of sitters. A lot. How many times did he miss the left or right post on a cross shot 1-on-1? I mean, he takes a shot at the outside of the box, and I mean, the same exact type of shot that Divock Origi scored in the final. He he's like a margin off. I don't know if he's going to get that, but it's not because we can't get him the ball. It's because he's just not putting it in the back of the net. That's it.
Like his technique is just like it's like he's either rushing it or he's not thinking of. I don't know. It's just there's something off.
Do you know what Darwin? Darwin's an instant finisher. That's what
exactly.
He's an instant finisher.
Right.
I think Darwin would have scored 20 Premier League goals at Man City because the way City play.
Yeah, they play direct.
Because they're direct and creative, and they cross in the box, they pass in the box. He would have. Because one thing I will say about Darwin's running off the ball is excellent to get into positions.
Yeah.
But we never find him with the pass, and that's the frustrating thing, and that's an issue, and maybe that's why we got someone like a McAllister in who has got the ability to, find a Darwin with one of them passes and a Trent. You saw a couple of assists from Trent to Darwin last season where, once Trent came into that central area, as soon as Trent had the ball, Darwin was making that run, and we got to go back to being more direct, in my opinion.
100%.
I don't want to see a tick-attack Liverpool side. I don't want to see it no more. I don't want to see us passing from the back in a slow manner, going side to side, waiting for teams to come on to us. Pass. We're not that team. We're a heavy metal side. We're a heavy metal side. We played like
get tap-ins. We got to see him get more tap-ins.
We played like a rock ballad last season. I want us to be heavy metal again. Direct. We used to play maybe 3 passes and we'd score a goal. That's the Liverpool I want to see. Go direct.
You want to see the Liverpool that was doing that high press 2019-20.
Squeeze the opposition. Squeeze them. That's what we
we need legs
all
in
the way up to
midfield
the
to do
flipping
that.
high.
We need legs in midfield to do that, and we didn't have it last season.
And
you hit the nail on the head as well, Jamie, by saying that about Darwin Nunez. It's like when we buy players, difference between Man City and Liverpool. They bought Haaland, and they completely changed the way they play to suit Haaland, and you got 50 goals out of Haaland because of it. We bought another Haaland in Nunez. He is that good. He absolutely mashed up their league in Portugal. We bought him, and we just chucked him in and expected him to just fit into the team. We could have molded our team around the way he plays and got the best out of him. That's not what we did. We didn't do it with Salah either. Salah was missing for so much of the season last season because he was played out of position. We don't do that. That's just not how we do things. So we just need to have a good pre-season and see if we can get the best out of him through pre-season.
Yeah, but I think that's the problem, though. We need to adapt. We can't just keep saying we don't do that. So that's all we're going to do.
We're not going to adapt because we haven't done it in 7 years.
Well, then we're not going to be winning the league anymore. Then
exactly what
we're not going to be winning the league.
I've been called every name under the sun. We need to adapt. We need to change because if we don't, the tactics get boring. They get stale, and teams figure us out, and we won't league titles.
We're not going to win the league under Klopp. That's a fact. Let's be honest.
We're not going to. Klopp only plays one way, and that's the problem.
Let me put it to you like this, because I'll get slagged off for this, because you go for the emperor and you get stabbed in the back, don't you? But let's do this. How much blame goes on Jurgen Klopp, guys? Because we always blame the owners. We always blame the owners for everything. I got told last season, because I went at Jurgen quite a lot last season for the first time since he's been at Liverpool, really. And I thought rightly so, because I thought he got a lot wrong last season, And he is the face of the football club. And I look at it, and people kept telling me, what do you want him to do with these players, Jamie? These players ain't up for it no more, Jamie. There's nothing he can do with these players, Jamie. He's trying the best he can. And lo and behold, he changed system. And guess what? We weren't undefeated for the last 11 games of the season. So he can do things with these players if you change the system. So in reality, guys, we know FSG are to blame because they're not ambitious enough, But Drew, how much blame should we put on Jurgen at times? That's the Drew.
Again, I think in regards to the owners, obviously, I would, like you said, we already know how they behave. So
no ambition.
But I would say in regards to Klopp, I think Klopp can probably speak up a lot more. in regards to, you know, maybe how the club is run and certain things he can and cannot do, just to put a little bit of pressure on the owners. But I think tactically, I think Klopp is just a typical German. They like to do things one way and one way only. He's very stubborn. And I think only when it really gets terrible or horribly bad, then he might think about changing it. And then it turns into, well, let's see how it goes. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Ice cream man's here. Ice cream man's here.
Oh my god, I want an ice cream now.
So
Who's that? Who's that? Who's
sorry,
that?
Bruno,
Your
Bruno, is that you?
Is that you,
Yeah,
Bruno?
that's me.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Is that your job? Is that your part time? Is that your job?
Hang on, I'm going
Bruno,
to
I'm working it right now.
Bruno, I'm going to have to put you on mute while that's going there because YouTube will
Yeah, so,
copyright that.
I don't know, and that's the thing. Like with Klopp, I don't again like when it comes to Klopp, like tactically, I'm yet to see how much he's actually able to do, if that makes sense, because I've never actually seen him do anything else except for now what he done towards the end of the season. This is the first time ever. So I'm yet to see to what extent he's actually able to do it. Can he do it to an extent of a Pep and Arteta? Like on what level is he at? Because he's only just done it towards the ending of the season. So I'm yet to see. Like I can't really say in regards to like how much blame does he get, because maybe he just doesn't really know how to be tactically different than what he's used to do. So then I can't blame him because he doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Look, before everyone comes at me for the Klopp stuff, I've already said it before. With Klopp's system, with the right players in his system, it's a great system. There's no doubt about it, because it was successful. We can't pretend it weren't. But he had tremendous players playing in that system. Now, if he can get back to something of that system and make the new players work it, got no problem with it. I'm just going to put that out there. But Gangy, how much do you think, you have to put a little bit of blame on a manager sometimes?
Oh, for majority of the season, it's on Klopp for me.
Yeah.
Like as much as FSG are just horrible, this season is on Klopp. Like you just got to go back to the summer transfer window, to be honest with you, where he was. 1 second.
Oh my God! I've just read something, guys. Apparently, Liverpool are still in for Mason Mount.
Sorry,
I don't think that that you have to look back to the summer. I think you just have to look back to December. I mean, it took Klopp until March to make a change in a system that lost 3-0 to Brighton and 3-0 to Wolves. Like a lot of it has to do with his ineptitude to change his tactics and his stubbornness. And like every manager has to answer for that. And the reason Man City are so good, like Jamie said, is they adapted their entire system. I mean, you got John Stones playing in midfield now. Like they're adaptable. They move forward. They evolve. Whereas what we saw all last season was Jurgen Klopp trying to unevolve or devolve back to what we were in 2019, and with a player base that wasn't capable of doing that. And so we were just going insane, doing the same thing week in, week out. And then we make a difference. I'm sorry, we make a change and we almost make top 4 off our worst season. So, a lot of it has to go on Jurgen's tactical abilities, not FSG, not, injuries, not anything, because he proved it at the end of the season with that stretch that it was a him problem. It was not anything else.
The other thing I was going to say, but one thing I was going to say.
To do so, like for me, I'm just like, you've played in the Bundesliga, okay, you've won, you like, do you know what I mean? Like you are one of the elite managers out here. But when I think about all the elite managers, things that like Pep or Arteta is doing right now, these things have been done already by elite managers. This is nothing new. Mourinho has done it before, Ancelotti's done it before. Like these tactical formations are nothing new. So I'm thinking, why is it taking Klopp so long to change something? I just don't get it. Is it maybe he just doesn't know how to do it or what?
He's stubborn. He's stubborn. He's a stubborn guy. I mean, he's very controlling. He's a demanding presence, and he's stubborn. And he tries to do the same. I mean, you see it in the lack of in-game adjustments. How many times do we see the worst substitutions because they're pre-planned and they're not going with the flow of the game? It's like, oh, here comes James Milner, right on, planned 75th minute. There we go. Has nothing to do. He's taking off someone who's starting to spark up, but doesn't matter. It was pre-planned. He's a stubborn guy, and that's one of his faults. He's great in many other areas, but tactical fluidity is not something that goes hand in hand with Jurgen Klopp.
Let Gangan take. Hang on, let Gangan take.
Yeah, sorry, I got cut off. Yeah, because somebody came into my room. But yeah, no. What I was gonna say is, this is what 2021 season, and now 2022-2023 season. It always seems like it's a resurrection job as opposed to a redemption job, and what I mean by that is he makes the change when shit hits the fan, and we kind of and it's like, oh yeah, we kind of do need to like kind of get serious and finish in a respectable position. So that's one of his flaws. The other thing I was going to say was I was going to touch on K-Mac said under Klopp I don't think we'll win another league title. Yes, that could be true, that could not be true. I would also say that under FSG you need a manager that can work under this model, but that has only a manager that you kind of need a manager that can work under this model, similarly to Klopp when he first came into the job, where he was at a team that previously that worked under a similar model to Liverpool, which was Borussia Dortmund, but obviously at a smaller scale because they weren't as much of a bigger club as Liverpool, where you buy with the sell to buy model, you buy the project / players that are a couple of rungs below ready made, you build them up, and then you win the league title that way. I don't know any manager out there currently that's working under us in a similar model from a previous club that has taken a minnow sort of a club under a similar model, brought them up, got them to the pinnacle, that can come in and kind of be a guarantee to take us to the pinnacle and to the league title. Because we can all pretty much sit here and say, based on his job at Borussia Dortmund, Klopp was pretty much a guarantee that we were going to win the league because of what he'd done at Borussia Dortmund. No, but this is the problem I have, because I don't know what managers out there that would fit that specific profile. Do you get what I mean?
I don't think I don't think any manager will make a difference, because I think we're in a different time now with like there's limited amount of players. Like nowadays, it's going to be hard to find like another Mane in the making, another VVD in the making, another Fabinho in the prime in the making. It's going to be very hard to find these players nowadays. It is.
Can I have my say on it? I'm the only one who hasn't spoke about Klopp, and you know how I feel anyway, Jamie. But we'll go again. For me, 7 years is too long with a manager. Just too long. I think Klopp should have gone a couple of years ago. I think Klopp was actually going a couple of years ago, but he re-signed a new contract. And the shit show we're in right now is because he wasn't prepared for a rebuild. And it didn't look like it was going to happen because he was going to go. And then he re-signed a new contract. And then he put all these old players back on new contracts. It's a fact. It's a fact. That is exactly what happened. And if you look at Klopp is an emotional manager. He's not a brilliant tactician. He's not a brilliant motivator. He's not a brilliant manager that can adapt players individually. He can emotionally build a team and get a team to work in a formation, and makes the formation and the team world class. Because I'm telling you, the players we signed are not world class players. The formation that they play in and what he gets out of them is world class. But if you chuck them in another team, they're not world class. They're not world class. And it's going to show on a lot of players that leave the club. And it already showed with Mane anyway. Like, we all thought Mane was just going to be absolutely incredible at Bayern Munich. And Bayern Munich are really disappointed by him, because he can work really well in a Klopp formation, and Klopp gets the best out of players in the formation. And the biggest issue we have with Klopp is Klopp stopped being emotional, or he just got too emotional, because over the last couple of years, he's been clocking off. Like, he hasn't been doing his job. he's been coasting along for too long, and all of his backroom staff started to get mutiny in there. There's been so many issues with the backroom. We got a director of football that left because Klopp wanted to re-sign old players on new contracts because he was leaving and then decided he was staying. And then the new guy, whose dream job was to be a director of football, left because no one was listening to him. And then all the data and analytics people left because they weren't getting listened to. And then we have all these Germans who were doing training and fitness who were all kicking off, and everyone's getting injured and everyone's having arguments. It's just an absolute mess. The reason why Klopp changed the formation is because he got a bollocking by FSG. Because they came over and said, if you don't book your ideas up, we're going to sack you. That's simple as. And this season, it has to be different. Otherwise, he's gone in November.
Can I just quickly say,
Go on.
right? And who's to blame in this? I'm going to say it right now. 70% of it is on FSG. 30% of it is on Klopp. Actually, 60-40 now. It's 60-40. Right? Klopp, the problem with him is too sentimental. He tries to keep players past their due date. Right? He tried to keep James Milner until he's 85. Yeah? Like, what in the name of garbage is this? He tried to keep Henderson until he's 85. Like, what in the name of garbage is this? It's not a retirement home. Yeah? The tactics, if it's not working, he keeps using the same tactics. Right? He keeps using the same tactics, never changing the tactics, never changing the formations. He's too damn emotional. We saw what happened last season where he got sent off for throwing a massive hissy fit. Right? Apparently punching one or throwing whatever he did to flipping Arteta. Right? Even though other managers do exactly the same thing. Right? It's just repetitive. I mean, I've already told you, if I do not see improvements in the transfer window and I don't see improvements in the tactics, I want this guy gone by September the 1st. Do you understand? September. You sort of saying December, November. By that time, the season's done. Finished.
There's only like 2 games into the season.
That's not 3 games in.
Bruno wants him to do like 16 different formations in one.
If he doesn't
knock it on a few months, Bruno, like December, November, like I did.
Right, this is why December's a bad month to sack him. Right? If you sack him in December, I'll tell you what, we're out of the FA Cup, we're out of the League Cup, we're out of the Europa League, and we've done it in terms of winning trophies in terms of the Premier League. That's why, because you have to...
Might as well sack him now then. So we can get players in with another manager.
But all these rumours about, this is the only player we're going to get. I'm sorry, but McAllister by himself, that's not good enough.
That's what I'm saying.
That's not good enough. I have high standards, okay? We won the title in 1920. The following season, we fell off a cliff. This is what I was telling my brother, and he was acting all thingy. And just so you know, in advance, my brother's a Man United supporter. Put it there, right there. He's a Man U supporter. This is a guy, and it's just a mess. Once you get to the top, you strengthen to stay at the top. Manchester City have won a treble.
I know.
Do you understand how painful that is?
It's mad.
Do you understand how painful that is? Right? We won 3 trophies once in once, I think it was 1984, and people are not counting that as a treble for some reason. Can you explain why that's not a treble, please?
Because the treble thing
with Julio was a Euro treble.
The treble thing.
No. It was 1984, the Champions League, the League Cup, and the
treble thing. The treble thing is made up by Man United. It literally is, because when they won it, they made it up. They made it up.
4.
If I go into a bar and I want a treble jack, I better be getting 3 shots. That's all I know, man. So a treble is free to me. So I don't know about it.
I don't know what the name of garbage. This was Terry from the Football Test because he said this. He went, the treble is the Premier League, the Champions League, and the FA Cup. So what? So you're going to discard the treble that we won back in 1984, are you?
Yeah.
Guys, you see if Klopp started moving like Conte did, started throwing the club under the bus, do you think FSG would spend a little bit more, or do you guys think that
they
would
sack
work?
him? They sack him.
That's what he has to do. He has to do a Conte statement. He has to call them out. I know what you're going to say. He's going to get sacked. Well, stop kissing FSG, because what he's doing is kissing FSG's ass. He's basically doing what Arsene Wenger did with the Cronkies, right? Because Arsene Wenger was kissing Cronky's ass. That's basically what Klopp's doing. He's kissing FSG's ass. And
He's
that's
the highest paid manager in the world, Bruno. Do you really think he's going to say boo to them?
Right,
He's
guys.
pay 15 million a year.
Listen, guys. Listen. I'm going to have to end it because I've got to go. But what I'm going to do another call-in show tomorrow night as well. Same time. I'm going to do another call-in show tomorrow night because I haven't done many videos this week. So I'm going to do another one tomorrow night because I want to have this conversation actually because there's some things I want to say on this, the sell to buy policy of Liverpool Football Club and why, Klopp might be to blame with FSG on this policy as well, why we're not doing it no more. So I want to have this conversation tomorrow. So Gang of Deep, Drew, K-Matt, Bruno, if you want to join again tomorrow night, you're more than welcome, yeah? And we'll chat about this tomorrow. So, guys, thank you very much for joining me. Albert in the chat he's going to join tomorrow as well, guys. So, yeah, we will do this call-in show again tomorrow. We'll get more people on, more say. And, I want to talk about a few more things. So, guys, thank you very much, Drew, Gang of Deep, Bruno, K-Mac, and Ends as well for coming on. And everyone else for coming on today. And I really do appreciate it. Guys, I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Great
Bye-bye.
show, mate. Great.